Welcome, everybody, to the Loyal Locals Podcast. I'm Drew Steck. Yo, up in your mics. There we go. And we are here tonight without our illustrious Director of Communications, Jerry Jimenez. But we will carry on. We love you, Jerry. Enjoy your night off. But we have a special guest here, Mr. Victor Lopez. How's it going, man?
Going well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Our pleasure.
We got El Presidente Esteban. How you doing now, man?
Reporting from Phoenix still, but I am happy to report that I am flying home tomorrow. And nice. I am staying home tomorrow. Yeah. So tomorrow I'm kind of calling it quits. There's still some work to do, but I've been out here way too much. And I need to get home. So
awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We are excited to get you back. I'll tell you that much. So, Victor, good to have you on, man. How have you been since our together Thursday, Tuesday, a few weeks ago?
The last one, I've been good, man. I've been busy, just at a personal level, but I'm glad that I think since then we've hung out maybe 3 or 4 times for the drum circles and the watch party. So I'm loving that. Yeah,
it's been way fun. Lots of events going on. That's why we have you here. We're going to talk about. I got some mic issues. That's why my voice sounds weird. I got a weird feedback in my ear, so I'm just going to leave that for a second. But we'll carry on here for everybody. The one thing we definitely want to talk about is not the game, but we will get to that at some point here. A third straight loss for our team that we will kind of cover in terms of our feelings. I don't know how much we'll actually cover the content of the match in terms of progression. There is some positives if we want to find some. But in general, Steve, how's your adjustment been since the loss? Do you think that we're still on a great track as a team, or do you think that we are possibly asking a lot of questions right now?
I mean, I think things can be two things, right? I mean, there's questions to be asked, but there's improvements that we're seeing. So I'm overall, there's progress, but you got to start seeing results. I mean, some of these early teams like Tacoma, we should have seen a result there. It's almost, we're dropping points where we need to be getting points. So I don't know. It's really hard to say. I would have liked to have seen a better performance. Like Drew, like you said, it was improved. We did see, better connection. There's improvements there. It's just a matter of finally translating those into results. And it's kind of like, how patient can we be as a fan base? And I get it. It's a long season. It's not the 16 games that last season was. It's 30 plus games. So, if there's a little bit of time that's needed to get your system right, that it makes some sense to do that. But at the same time, we want to see results. We want to see this team win. We know how much the team is capable of, and seeing him struggle this much is hard. Corey's not playing well. He doesn't seem to be connecting well. He's not putting the ball in the back of the net. There's so much talent on this team that's just not connecting. So, I want to see better results. And this upcoming match is kind of big. It's kind of a big one. It's kind of like, all right, you had 3 weeks. You've kind of struggled for 3 weeks. Maybe seeing some better things going on there, but let's turn it around and turn that into a result. If we don't win, I'll be pretty disappointed, and I think that'll be a pretty bad start to the season, and then we'll start having to ask a lot more questions.
Yeah, Victor, how did you feel, man? You were there with us at the home and away party, which was kind of a blast. That was the highlight, being together with Chavos, banging drums till the neighbors told us to stop, all that good stuff. It's the supporter experience, and we'll get to some of that a little bit after the game recap and getting to know Victor a little better. But how'd you feel about the match overall?
I feel like, aside from the sports side of it, as a fan, as a supporter of the team, and I could see it in everyone's faces, we all want the team to do better. We all want to celebrate that victory, and you can tell. When you looked around at the end of the game, I don't think anyone was expecting that loss. Like Steve said, the team looks very strong on paper, and so far, leading up to the season, we saw all the signings. We saw the club hiding, scores or not letting us know what was going on in those preseason matches, and it really built some excitement into what was going to happen at the beginning of the season. And here we are, and I don't think that any of us expected to be where we are today. In terms of the club and the results. So that sucks.
Yeah, that's well said. That's a really good point.
Totally.
Like leading into the season, there was so much, hype with all the signings, and this is, there's how last season ended with, not the incidents, but how we were playing towards the end of the season, and then leading into this season with Guido returning and Corey, the expectations were so high, and now, these last 3 weeks have been really disappointing. So it's like I'm trying to find beacons of light in it by saying, there's improvements, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I mean, Victor, you said it well. Like, I'm bummed. These were 3 matches. Yeah, Phoenix was really good. But the last 2 matches, we should be able to do both, right? We should be able to work on our tactics and our system and improve, but while also scoring, right? Like we should also be able to find the back of the net with just the talent we have, and we're just not doing that right now. It kind of feels like we're back in that August slump where we just couldn't score, and it's disappointing. I really want to see better. We'll go through the game recap, but I have some comments to say on some tweets that our gaffer said, because I have some problems with it.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Let's get into the spicy part of the meal here. But before we do, let's do what you do before you have a spicy thing. Let's talk about what we're drinking. What are you drinking, Steve?
I am drinking the last beer in the hotel fridge, which is a Dos Equis, because I needed beer in my system, and I don't care. Obviously, I always try to stay craft and local, but tonight I couldn't. So, cheers. Yeah,
I would be kind of saying that I just picked out of my fridge what was there, and what was there was a kickback relax. So
delicious.
Not bad for reaching in the fridge and find some there that I didn't have to go buy. Pretty great. Good people over there at L. Smith. What about you, Victor?
I actually ran to the store right before we got this started, and I was already wearing my jersey. So I don't know if it was, I forget when it was, but you guys were talking about Sculpin and your favorite Sculpins. Mine is actually, I don't think not a popular choice. It's a grapefruit or the watermelon one. But today, based on the jersey that I'm wearing, I got the Aloha Hazy.
Oh, yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, there you go.
That's dope.
People love that.
I don't think I've had that one. I don't think I've had Aloha Hazy. I've had Aloha. But
yeah, it's good. It's definitely good. I'm enjoying it.
I'll have to give that a shot.
How is Aloha different from pineapple? Is it the same?
It's different. It's a little different. Yeah, different flavor.
Aloha. Yeah, I had the pineapple back in the day, but I haven't definitely had the hazy or the Aloha, I think. Maybe I have, but it would have been at a party after like 2 or 3 other Sculpins. Maybe don't remember.
Yeah. They start to blend in after a few.
Yeah, I'm trying to eat the mic here, guys. When I turn the volume way up, this is what it sounds like. So, there you go for people in the comments. I'll keep it right here. There we go.
There we go. There we go. It's perfect.
Now we are at a very happy place. Hair is wrong. Mic is perfect. But for the people on the podcast, they don't care. That's the So you came to listen. You didn't came to look. Moving kind of into what Steve was talking about, the spicy kind of part of the meal here, kind of getting that right off the top here. After the match, we lost a 3-1 match. We've lost 3 straight games. I think we looked better on the ball in 2 of them, yet our defense and our ability to score is definitely called into question in all 3 of these. He had comments after the match. Steve, do you want to kind of summarize those comments for us a little bit?
Yeah, I don't like the comments. I don't like the comments or the tweets. I don't like when somebody tells me what I should or shouldn't expect out of the club. I don't like when somebody tells me to be patient. No, it's a results-based business, and I get it. Okay, I get it. But don't tell me to temper expectations. Set the expectation by performing and earning that patience from us. Like, I don't like that, the tweets he sent saying we're working on this, we'll get better. When it does, it'll be amazing. How do you, you don't know that. You're working on something. How do you know you're going down the right path? Like, I just don't like the be patient because it's like telling us that the results right now are okay. You know, it's like, oh, this is expected. It's okay to lose. No, that's not an expectation that I want to set. I have I don't like that at all. I have a huge problem with it. So I really hope that, those results do come, because I want to see this season turn around, but I don't like the kind of the tone there. It's kind of like it's okay right now. We're fine. We're working on stuff. Like, no. This isn't like a long-term baseball rebuild kind of a thing. Like, that's not what this is about. That's not what USL Championship is about. That's not, I want to see we have high expectations for this club because the signings, because we are, we're supporters and we have high expectations of our club, and that's a good thing. So don't tell us to be like, oh no, this is okay. I don't like that at all. Not one bit.
No, there's no excuses when you can't accomplish the main feat in a game, and this is kind of where I'm gonna lay my thoughts out, just generally on the match. As I've been reticent to do so because buckle up. The back line is disorganized during a couple of these goals, but generally most are happening when people just are switching off, which means that it's no one person or it's no one failure of formation. It's no one thing. And when you're looking at that, you can't point to anything else but either system, formation, or, in that sense, coaching and whatever the plan was, right? However you want to devise that. And it's failed in 3 straight matches. Whether the match was to carry it late and try and eke it out against Rio Grande, that bit us in the butt. Whether it was to try and, get shots on goal and then convert them, we didn't convert them against Tacoma. We had some shots on goal right before they scored their first one. Jack Blake had a great slice right at the keeper. But again, I feel like I'm watching the same shot as Elijah the game before, where I'm seeing misses straight at the keeper where they should just be putting it a little bit higher or a little bit over, or maybe trying to find another pass. I don't know what the deal is, but again, there's been too many passes in the box as well where I think there should be a shot as well. So I don't know what's happening with some of this strategy, but sometimes it does feel like it's a little bit heavy in terms of the armor, in terms of what the players are carrying around. You can see the mental weight that they're sometimes carrying with them. Well, and I think that's where I'm kind of at, is like, how do we lift some of that mental weight? And I've seen this happen with a lot of the sports teams here. We had some really great coaches with our gridiron teams over the years that had really complicated systems. And you would watch the first few weeks, they couldn't put it together. We're used to slow starts here, unfortunately, as San Diego sports fans, so it's part of the deal. But like, they can't put it together because it's just too much. And then you strip down 30% or you remove 20% of what's happening there, and you focus in on maybe what's effective. And that makes you feel so much stronger. And that seemed to happen with the club in September of last year. Yeah. But it's one of those things that also coincided with a bunch of signings. And so you kind of attribute it to both. The question is here, as Landon said, you could make more signings. I mean, you could spend more and buy more players. But like, is that really going to fix the systematic problem, which is like, we're giving up goals and we're not scoring goals. And anytime you're doing that in this fashion, you're not going to pick up points. And when you open the season with, 0 out of 3 matches, you're not feeling too great about really any of your decisions. So that's kind of my take. And I think that we're, if we want to look breaking down who scored and where they scored, that can be a thing. And it was nice to get, a goal and be able to celebrate it again with people. Is like, that alone is a victory for 2021, right? But the game itself felt like it, ultimately played into a trope, which we're used to, is how do we reboot what we thought was going to be successful here as San Diego sports fans and find, not salvage, but kind of create a different vision for our season than maybe what we thought a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should keep our expectations high, right? It's still very early. Right? It's like less than 10%. So
still have.
Well, I mean, I agree with everything we're saying. It's still very early.
Yeah. We still have 30 games, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, there's so many games. We're just used to having like a very compacted season. So I think the losses crush more at this point. It was kind of like with the Padres when they first started their season as well. It was like, oh my God, this game means so much. And especially with the Dodgers. But like, really, we're going to play so many of these that at the end of it, it'll be amazing if you remember some of the first few. And so the hope is always to peak late, and at the end of a season, right. that is the good thing, is that we're not peaking too early. So if you want to find a positive, easy positive, not peaking early. That's what I would say. Victor, do you have any other early positives As we were talking kind of down in the dumps here, any early positives out of this for you?
I mean, as you guys are talking about that, I'm just thinking about last season. It feels a lot like last season where we had a very not so good start, and then towards the middle of the season we started to pick up, and we ended pretty well. And I think that's the feeling we all have. We ended pretty well, and then we had a pretty good preseason, right? According to what we could see on Twitter or paper, and I think we all had high expectations of what this team was going to bring on. And with the ending of last season, the preseason now, and we saw the new signings, and we said, I think we all thought we have this. Players are coming in, look sharp, they look aggressive, it looked good. The environment in the locker room looks like it was improving and very fun. And so we were all ready for that. And I just hope that it's going to start to turn around, and we're all going to start to celebrate a little more.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. So this upcoming game, like I said, I kind of see it as let's start to see some points. Let's start to see some goals. It's kind of time, right? You get those first couple games, even though, like I said, our expectations are high. I don't like to be told to be patient, but I can be patient as long as it starts to turn around. So there's a difference here, but I want to. It's time, right? Like it's time. You get off to too slow of a start, and you're all of a sudden panicking to recover, and that's pretty much exactly what happened last year. Like you said, this kind of feels like last year. I agree. We're working through a lot of kinks. If we can get it right and start humming along, I think it could be a beautiful thing. But we get ourselves in too big of a hole, and all of a sudden we can't climb out of it. So,
or you're facing a really hard playoff matchup that's
right.
maybe impossible to win based on your players and your setup and your travel and that kind of stuff, right? So it is one of those things where you want to stay on the upper hand for those reasons, especially in a league with a lot of traps, as we found. Tacoma trapped us. They pulled us up. We thought, hey, we can run this. We need a win. We deserve a win. We're going to get a win. And they put us in their quadrangle of a field up there at Cheney Stadium. They say Cheney or something. It's Cheney, right? Am I reading it wrong? But I hear people say it really weird, like Cheney Stadium. Like, I'm like, what is this pronunciation? But anyway, this baseball stadium where their minor league team plays, and it seemed like a nice little setup there. But at the same time, it is always a weird field that I think plays with players, and you can't practice for it when you're used to, especially even playing on pristine fields and well-shaped fields. Sometimes it does mess with you a little bit more. So it is a bit of a trap game. We played them hard last time, but who's to say that won't be a little bit of a trap game in the future? So I'm, kind of to break it down here again, 3-1 loss. They went up 1-0. We went into the break. We were feeling pretty good almost up until right when they scored. I think if we would have gone to the half, I would have felt like, hey, that was good. We're doing good and we're going to score. And then we did. Yeah, and then we did. We did score. And we're like, hey, let's get the upper hand. We can go 2-1. This is Tacoma. We did this before, right? We beat them 2-1. Let's go. And they put the pedal down on us, and they did it again. And we're sitting here. We can break down the goals if you really want. I really wanted to break down actually the players that played in the game themselves in terms of kind of the positives, and in that just seeing new players or seeing different players in the mix and some positives from them. One was Jordan Chavez, who we haven't got to see debut yet. He was with the club last year and then didn't really ever play. And so this was really his chance to jump out there, which is always awesome to see San Diegans and see our people wearing the kit, wearing the crest. That's what it's all about. So for me, that was a special moment, even though it's a loss. You like marking the fact that we're bringing on new players, the fact that we're bringing on and giving opportunity, especially after some losses. You want to see a mix in, you want to see different players. So for me, that was a big positive. What about you guys? Steve, you find that positive?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It's an awesome thing to see a hometown kid make a debut. He's born and raised here. You just love to see that kind of stuff. It's why we support. It's what we're all about. Another thing I'd like to see Sal from the start. I think we haven't seen that too much recently. Towards the end of last season, he wasn't really a starter. The first couple games here, he wasn't really starting either. He's on the older side, 34 compared to a lot of younger players in USL, so it might be hard for him to keep up. But I think he brings like a presence and a calmness, and with his experience. And I'm usually not one for bringing the veteran for experience. I'm way more about the youth and energy. But I think right now we kind of need that. We kind of need that that center, somebody to bring, hey, calm it down, hey, let's just play our game. Think, don't overthink it, but think and be smart, make smart decisions. So I like to see that a lot. That's something that I'd like to see continue going forward, because I think he also played pretty well.
Yeah. It was a strong showing. Here's what the coach said. He said he's waited a long time for his moment. He was great. He helped us get back in the game, and it was a really nice moment to see him on the field for the first time. He's a proud Chula Vistan and a San Diegan, and we're happy he was able to play in his first professional game. That's from the skipper, who we took umbrage with some of his comments, but I take umbrage with none of those. It's very fine words for Jordan. Victor, do you like marking new players? We got to see somebody wearing a cape of a country flag at our viewing party. A new player playing for us that they had to announce because he was starting. It's kind of one of those things where maybe he's been training, maybe he's been around, but they didn't announce him, and the game's coming up, and they're going to put him in the lineup, so they probably should announce the player. But any thoughts on Jordan Chavez before we move on to that peculiar situation there?
I'm excited. I'm happy for him. I think there's something special about having a hometown kid in the lineup. It brings, that player's going to play a little extra, going to give it his all, just because, one, you're at home, probably playing, for your family, your hometown. You bring that extra to the field. Talking about Sal, it reminds me, as you were saying that, Steve, Raf, I'm thinking about Mexico. I'm going to jump a little bit to the Liga MX. My team, León, which I know we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
But we signed Rafa Marquez when he was already, people said he was done. He was done, but it was a big signing for León. And at his age, he brought leadership to the team, and we got 2 titles out of that. So sometimes it's not about the speed, but, the leadership on the field and getting the players to, like you said, relaxing them, make sure they're calm and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing on the field. You need a coach on the field sometimes, and I think Sal can bring that. So I feel about that.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of it. Like I said, I think that would be a really good thing.
I agree.
It's gonna be fun to see the select players make their way into. I mean, to see one of them start or see one of them play and score, of course, is gonna be like, oh my god, like it's so cool to not only have them debut with our club, but possibly make those memories and make those notches up a ladder for them to wherever their career takes them here, starting here. Always cemented as that cornerstone. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking forward to for sure. The person we were talking about a few minutes ago, and we here, if you do watch our YouTube stream, you're able to see ahead of the time what's going on. One of those is that we have a Kiwi in our midst. We've had one in our comment section and in our membership. Sorry, I had a beer burp come in there. Those also happen when I hang out with this guy. But I do hang out with our member, Nick Duffy. And yes, he got it right. It is Hunter Ashworth, our Kiwi signing, who's also a SoCal kid, which is a great kind of combo, right? He was born in Laguna Beach, but to New Zealand parents, and is a New Zealand international, plays for their team. Will be playing in the Olympics, unlike the Americans. So we will hopefully be able to watch him and cheer on New Zealand along with one of our favorite members here, Mr. Nick Duffy. So I was very happy for him. He's been bugging Ricardo, I know, for weeks, texting him, blowing him up, if you will, to say, hey, what about Kiwis? Phoenix has Kiwis. They keep winning. What's with that? Maybe if we sign more Kiwis, we could get a win. And it was looking pretty good for a bit there. But unfortunately, we did give up the L, but we do have a new signing, and he looks great. He's huge. He's a big guy. And he's, he seems to maybe have some intangibles that are really good. And obviously with this coaching staff, you hope that they can bring more out of the player than maybe we've seen before. And we have seen great strides from players, even though the season's been tough with the win column or any points. The players that we've seen playing, we have seen some growth, I think, even from last year to this year in certain individual performances. So that's where I'm hoping to see some more from him as well as he comes on and grows into having a national flag behind the goal there at Torero. We're going to add a Kiwi flag, so we're going to have to order one of those, Steve, here soon, because we do have a game coming up, and we'll get to that in a second. But you guys have any thoughts on adding another center back here, adding a Kiwi?
No, I think that from the center back perspective, I think it's smart. Something that I mentioned a couple weeks ago is I'm concerned about depth. We have less players than last season, and I think they're, they're more expensive. They're experienced. They're proven goal scorers. Corey is a proven goal scorer. We don't, USL doesn't release salary details like MLS does, but there's no doubt that he's making more money than a lot of the other players. The point being, we have quality players, but we have less of them. So depth is a concern. So I'm glad that we got him, because I think the center back depth I was worried about.
Yeah. We definitely needed someone to at least work into the rotation, because it felt really thin, especially once Grant went down. And so once Grant comes back, and as he kind of works his way back in, the hope is that we'll have at least a rotation here that can be pretty strong, to where you can even give a rest maybe to one or two as you go along, especially as we get into a winning mode and we're just rattling off wins here, every week or so. So, Victor, Any thoughts? Any thoughts on Kiwis? Any thoughts on Nick going nuts? He also met a Kiwi at our viewing party. That's why you have to have events and have people congregate. You get these wonderful experiences. Somebody who didn't even know about Loyal saw this guy wearing a New Zealand flag running around saying, "What's this all about?" And sat there and drank and watched the game with us for quite a bit, even though he was just hanging out. And it was pretty fun. So you get these kind of amazing happenstance things, and Victor has been awesome enough to be the person to coordinate a lot of this for us. So let's get into who Victor is a little bit as a person, I guess, and kind of talk about that in terms of like your supporter story. Kind of where did you start in terms of your love of the game, as well as kind of and then what kind of brought you to the locals. But we'll start with what started your love of the game. What kind of sparked you?
For me, actually, it was I can pinpoint the day and time that it happened for me. It was honestly back in 1997, and I was actually León Cruz Azul final. León actually lost that game, and prior to that, I wasn't too much of a big fan of soccer, to be honest. But the guy that was sitting next to me, my uncle, also Victor Lopez, who rest in peace, has passed away many years ago. I viewed him as a very tough guy, very, very tough guy. And he kind of forced me to watch the final with him. And at the end of the game, blow the whistle, León loses, and I see the guy start to cry. And, I view this guy as a macho guy, strong, and there he is crying. And I couldn't believe that soccer could do something to a guy like him. So the following season, I watched every León game with him. Every Sunday at noon, I was sitting down next to him watching León. And I became a fan, man. I became a fan right before they actually went down to a lower division. Had to follow them through radio because there wasn't, it wasn't televised. So I would sit on my computer, go to the website, listen to the radio station. I have my little cousin next to me, and you kind of just close your eyes, sit back. It's like old time. Sit back, close your eyes, and kind of envision what was happening on the field. And I think that actually made me a hardcore fan, León fan, because I couldn't even see them. I'd literally just sit there with my eyes closed. I'd ask my uncle every time he went to Mexico, bring me a jersey. I want the new jersey. He'd bring me the jersey, the training kit. I just had everything León would bring out, right? And that was my introduction to soccer. So, I love that team. You guys know
that's an awesome story.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. So then tying it into, bringing it back to kind of the current situation, how did you find us? I mean, you were at a couple of our leadership meetings. How did you hear about us? Was it just through social media? What brought you to us? Because we're very lucky to have you. You're awesome. So
yeah, thanks, man. No, actually, I kind of in the background. I was there through the Soccer City days. I've always been a fan. I mean, I've always wanted something hometown. León's my hometown in Mexico. Here in San Diego, I've always felt like San Diego is such a big market for soccer. And I don't understand why up to now we didn't have a team, right? So I was there for the I was there for Soccer City, and I would show up to all the events. I actually got to, you were a very familiar face when I started going to leadership because I saw you around a lot. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And I signed up for a few listening sessions for San Diego Loyal once I knew this was a thing. And I actually was at a listening session over at Elsmith. I think it was Elsmith. And I met Jerry there that day. I was talking to him, and at the end of the night, I remember some of the office was, what I liked about the office that day, they were very real people. They were there to drink with us, get to know us. By then, I was already talking to Ricardo. I talked to Ricardo at a few events already. And I heard Jerry saying, I want to be part of the supporters group. He brought up the AO, Ryan's Club. Hey, we want to be part of that. It needs to, needs to grow. I need to, and that was the last time. And to be honest, I don't remember. I remember you guys putting out some messages about leadership meetings. And I said, I'm just going to show up because I want to see who these guys are. I want to kind of get to meet them. And I remember sitting at O'Brien's, the first meeting, you guys were talking about the colors and the crest and the options before bum was bum, like we were talking about options. And I thought that was so cool, man. I thought it was so cool. And it was every Thursday, I think it was. Like the next Thursday, we're going to a different brewery, different place. And I just wanted to go. I just want to be there. And I knew from the first time, I want to be around these guys. I want to be around this culture. I want to see this grow. And it's beautiful because I got to take my wife and kid to the first games, and to see my daughter out there with the flag and kind of do what Monco did for me with León. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's dope. That's awesome, man. Well, like I said, we're very lucky to have you. You bring a lot to our table, especially right now. There's a ton going on with watch parties and just a lot on our plates. So you're carrying a big heavy weight right now, and we really, really appreciate you.
I know. I'm excited because last season we got none of that. Last season I was laying back looking at you guys do all the heavy work, and I was like, geez, am I even part of this?
Yeah, last season was rough, right? Because we couldn't really do things that other, you and other leadership were like intended to do, right? Like we set these bylaws and these positions with the regular season and a regular world in mind, right? Events and operations and stadium operations and, selling merch. And like, there's so much. And then all of a sudden COVID hit and it's like, oh, this is also weird, So yeah, like there was a lot. It was kind of a hard year to like divvy things up, and it just kind of was what it was. But now this year is going to be back, hopefully, to the way things were. Looks like we're going that way, which is really, really exciting. And like Drew said, the first game's 11 days away. We're right around the corner.
Every time I'm texting Victor, it's about something exciting, and we've been texting a lot. So that's weird. That's how stuff's happening when it's like, it used to be every week or so. You'd be like, oh, when was the last time I texted Victor? It was like a week or so. And now it's like, now it's like every other day. It's like, hey, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
So it is pretty great, right? Yeah. Yeah. To have that kind of pattern, and as you said, churning back up towards normal as we go and getting, step by step here. Yeah, man.
Before we let this go, I want to shout out to you guys and all the rest of leadership. Jerry, Drew, everybody here picking up a huge load while I'm out of town and pretty disconnected. I'm working a lot, so I'm not really responding a whole ton to people. So you guys, Travis, there's a ton of people and work going on behind the scenes. And I just want to shout everybody out and say I appreciate everybody. So thank you guys. It's
mostly shout out to everybody for not going insane with me. So thank you to you guys. But it's why, Steve, we chose, and had these people to come together, right? It was the people who showed up, who were involved in the first place and want to do stuff. And so it's been really not easy. I would say it's not easy, but it's definitely been easier because we have this group of people to fall back. And sometimes it's harder because you have such a larger group with, 15, 16 leaders here conversing about every decision. It can be very difficult sometimes to come to consensus or to run things up the flagpole, just to get a response. But the process and kind of doing it together has been so rewarding when we get it right. And so thank you for helping lead the way on that early, even when it was annoying, to institute a process. And so it's helped us here a lot, man. So thank you so much. But it's a team, right? It's always a team here. And that's why, for sure. Not one of us does it. But it's come back soon, please. So that people stop being, so I can be the good cop again.
Yeah.
Or the slightly less bad cop. But yeah, no, it's been fantastic. Watching Victor grow here, especially through having more events lately. I want to know from you, just kind of as you described your initial experiences with the sport and kind of where you're coming from with your love of León. What would be your ideal supporters event? Or an experience maybe you've had before that was kind of solidified your sport or experience that you would say, here's the kind of thing I want an event to do for someone else.
Man, I can't wait till we can start to travel. And for those that can actually travel to experience that, I've traveled to. For me, going back to León, I get to be the away guy when they come to Cholos or to Tijuana, and it's such an experience. There's so much energy there because you are in the enemy's territory, right? And it's your job to show them, I'm here. We're here. We're here to support our club. And it's always rewarding to see the club walk over to our section and just applaud us. And as a fan, man, that's amazing. So, that's something that I can't wait to get started. I know you guys might know I message my contacts with the buses, and hopefully soon we can start working that and get it out to the members. And I can't wait. I can't wait, obviously, for COVID and fully back people so we can all get together, right?
Yeah.
We're not breaking any news if we say Orange County is probably the closest in play, right? We've said this on the podcast a lot, and so we think that's when we're looking at here. And Victor's been definitely pushing the envelope to say, okay, here's what can we do? Here's the setup. And so we're talking about this stuff all the time. And just know, guys, we're soon to looking at, trying to get this information out. We want to do it always at least a month ahead of time if we can. Obviously, these post-COVID times where we're rolling out different ticketing, all of that stuff happens sometimes later than we'd want. And so some of it's got to be done on spec. So that's where we're still having these conversations and figuring it out. As Victor said, it's always, there's always conversations, man. So, those away days, man, those are definitely a big event. That's something that I was looking forward to the most, away trips. And like you guys all know, I was at the Phoenix match, the opener, but it was nothing without, the locals, kind of this family that we've built, right? It was cool to be there and all, but like, it was kind of like, oh, this is like all I could think about was I can't wait until later in the season when we can get a group and get get a little bit of a section and all have some fun together. Like that's what it's about, right? It's not just the game. It's the family. It's the friends. It's the hugs. It's those moments that matter most. So I couldn't agree more, Victor. I can't wait for away trips. Shared experiences, man.
It's
what builds groups like this, guys. It really is. And so we get them in the stands here, but bonding on the road, just learning a little bit about the person who stands next to you. That's the cool part. That's what I really love, is learning more about where they come from, what they're about. I love it. So
going back to you mentioned León and you mentioned Xolos. So kind of what was your reaction when Landon signed for León? Like give me when you first that kind of stuff.
I was actually very excited because because of Soccer City, I think I had already become a Landon Donovan fan. Like most of Hispanics or Mexicans here can agree that Landon is not very well, or up until a certain time wasn't very well loved in Mexico, right? So when he went to León, he was actually very criticized, and they did León does a great job with their social media, their marketing, and the way they signed him. And he came onto the stadium with the Mexico and USA flag waving up. It was amazing. I was actually very happy. Everyone was kind of worried because of his age and coming out of retirement and contract. And people were saying, we're spending so much money on this player who's retired. We could be spending on a young guy. I was happy, man. I actually, as some of you guys know, I traveled. I went and I got to see him in León. It was a León versus Xolos in León.
Cool.
And I actually didn't wear my jersey that day. I wore something that it was a little more comfortable, obviously, with my size. I wore a León t-shirt, and underneath I wore my Footy McFooty shirt.
Oh, cool.
And
nice.
At the end of the match, I ran. We happened to be parked where the players park. Contact down there has a nice parking and a little suite down there. So we went down, and he was wearing headphones, and he was signing jerseys, and I was trying to scream, Landon. Couldn't get his attention. I put on my shirt. He sees this, like, out of the corner of his eye, he sees the Footy McFooty, stops doing what he's doing. He walks over. My buddy had the perfect picture of him walking over with a fist bump and a happy face. Does fist bump, gives me a hug, says, "What are you doing here?" And I go, "I can't see you, man." And it was such a wonderful experience. So I loved it. A lot of people weren't too fond of him and the idea there. For me, it was amazing, obviously.
That's dope. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like to think he planted the seeds in the team that brought them greatness in future seasons, that he was the catalyst behind the scenes. He built a winning mentality, even if he wasn't playing as much. But yeah, it was fun to watch him down there. Like, and I've been following more Liga MX because he went down there just to like watch his games, right? And so I've always watched Cholos and some of the bigger matches, but it started making me watch, hey, just random match here, random match there, watched, a lot of, Morelia before they moved and certain clubs that, got to know stories of even that I wouldn't have otherwise. So, with León, what's your take on how they're doing right now? How do you feel about, your club, that your love, your first love here? How do you feel currently about their season, and then just overall as well, just kind of the trajectory of the club?
Man, they did exactly what Loyal's doing to us right now. They, obviously defending champions, had an amazing season last season.
Yeah.
Obviously, without fans on the stands, they take the title. I got to be at the last final where they, unfortunately, with a tie, lost the final there. But I was expecting a lot from them this season, and it didn't happen quite like I thought it was going to happen. Some of the players got too comfortable, and it
Yeah.
happens. We see it all around the world. Players they get that championship, and a lot of them they get comfortable. They're stars, and I think that's what happened to Leon this season. Going into the next season, new coach. I've already seen some signings, people going to different clubs, so that's a little upsetting. But Leon over the last couple of years, they've been that aggressive team. That's what I like, aggressive, and that's what I wanted out of San Diego Loyal, an aggressive team, a team that's we're screaming goals. So one of the coaches we had in Leon would always say, if they score 2 goals against us, we score 3 goals against them, right? That's what I want. That mentality. If they score on us, hey, pick it up. Let's go score on them. That's we're always pushing forward, and we're trying, and we're playing for the fans. And right now, I'm hoping that happens next season. Season's over for us. We're not in the finals. Good luck to the guys that are still in there. But for us, we're kind of sitting back and enjoying the final.
Yeah. Sometimes it's you want to swing big, regardless of whether or not you make it every year. It's kind of how I feel about certain clubs that I've watched over the years. But yeah, it's you always want to be swinging. It's really frustrating when you're not swinging and when you're not doing transfers or you're not trying at least. Those are the things that can get really frustrating as a fan. So it's always better, especially winning, being kind of in the malaise of winning as well helps when you have that trophy, you have that recent memory of a win. So all those things kind of help you in terms of getting going in terms of that. Yeah, man, I've loved kind of watching your kind of fan journey through the championship and living vicariously through you too is always kind of fun to watch you do that. So it was very fun for I think all of us as locals to enjoy that with you, even if we're fans of rival clubs. Being able to know that one of our own is really having a great time and being able to help watch that, it's always fun. But what's your biggest hope for our club? You obviously always hope for a championship, but what's your biggest hope for the club in terms of 5-10 years down the road, and maybe locals as well? The SG, you can kind of lump that in your vision. Big question, but maybe just one thing that you've always seen in the future is something you'd like to see maybe from our club.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for both, right, for the club and the locals, solidify, just become man. I for San Diego Loyal, obviously, for all of us here in San Diego, the goal is to at some point, be at a higher league level. But for now, it's just create that identity. I think as much as we are upset at the recent results, I think we all want a team that's always giving news. And everyone wants that for their club. Everyone wants a team that's always in the headlines and have the goal of the week or the score of the week, the player of the match, highlights. I just want San Diego to be that team, man. I want San Diego to be the team that everyone's talking about. And we go to a bar and people aren't asking what's that on TV or who's that team. San Diego has a team. Yeah, man, we do. We have a team. We're here. And for us, same thing for the locals. We're all building something, and there's going to be people after us that are going to continue. And I just want to be, I travel, like I said, I travel. You go to TJ and you see their fan base there, and it's something not to mess. You don't mess with it. As a visiting supporter member, you're Leon's a little aggressive. I hate that. I hate that the Leon fans. We are a little aggressive, so we kind of taunt them. But if you're not, if you don't have that fan base, you're gonna respect them. But I think we're building something a little different than that here with the locals. It's welcoming, like stay classy San Diego, right? Stay classy. And I think that's going to go a long way, man. I think we're doing we're taking the right steps in the right direction. The people that I've met, just being a locals member, I probably would have, I was talking to somebody here where I live and work, that actually brought up San Diego Loyal, and I told them about the locals, and I said, half of these people, if I wasn't for the locals, I probably would have never met them, hung out with, or talked to. And now, dude, I miss you guys. I want to see you guys. I want to see you next week. I want to be at the next watch party. And there's people that it's amazing. And I think we're going in the right direction. I can't wait to see what's happening.
Yeah, but the identity thing is that's, if you had asked me that question, I don't know if I would have said those words, but that like summarizes it perfectly, right? Like we don't have that identity yet because of last season was so mismatched, and it just was such a poor representation of what a season should be. But that identity word is really key. Really well said.
Yeah, it's awesome words, man. I asked that question. It's a very lofty question. I think your answer beat the question, which was like impossible thing to do. It was incredible, man. That was a great answer. That's kind of my ringer. Any other things you have for Victor on Victor, Steve? And so we can move into some locals topics, maybe talk about the watch parties a little bit. Victor, get you in your craft. Let's talk about that. So we've had a few watch parties here because we've had games and we can watch things together these days. Most of us are vaccinated, which is fantastic. Thank you, Radies, for your volunteer program, and thank you Tom Phillips. And Tom. Yeah. That's what I was going to say, Mr. Tom Phillips, who is, I personally think anytime that I am allowed to do something, I say thank you, Tom, for helping. So it's been really cool to watch the ability to do that too, without a fear, and the ability to do it knowing that everybody's in a situation where we're being commonly safe with each other, which is great. So we were able to go to Second Chance last week, and Chavos came up to join us. Our friends at Chavos, that's why I'm wearing our wonderful T-shirt here from Chavos. But we also came down to a home and away for the last one. Obviously, we didn't find a lucky location with either one, but we did in terms of the spirit and the effort there. It was pretty fun. Second Chance let us play drums inside. I think next time we're going to try and do a projector outside for people who did come. That's the goal long term, is to be able to do it a little more outdoors. It was just too bright that day. It was not a 4, but it was an earlier start, 5:30. Just too early to project. And then home and away, we did play drums outside, but then they told us to stop playing drums, which was kind of funny because their neighbors told us not to. Victor, can you speak that a little bit? Because it was a Chavos party, but as a director of events, it's always kind of funny to watch that happen, to be like, oh man, that's going on. It's like a whole deal, right?
Oh yeah, man. I pulled up. I actually got there. I know you guys got together a little early and did some content. I was pulling up, and my daughter goes, "What's that noise?" And I go, "That's us. It's us in there." And I got so excited from just walking up. And I think walking into the event at the time that I did is everything you can kind of like wish for. There's people, there's jerseys all around, there's chants happening, there's drums going. And the excitement is just building up, and I think that that's what we're kind of aiming for every game, right? Every watch party that we can. I know that for me at least, I want to do that. I want to get us to a place where we're kind of, as times get better with COVID, we can be all together in one location, because we can bring that energy, man. That energy was amazing. Yeah. I love it.
Yes,
I got cut off a little early. I wish it didn't, but while it lasted, it was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I was so bummed I couldn't be there. Like I said, I've been out here the last couple, but I'll be in town this weekend, so you bet I'll be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. I think Machete is where the club is going. We've had some kind of it's tough with them sometimes in terms of where they can and can't go based on the person who's on the shirt. I think a little bit has to do with that, unfortunately, with certain other breweries. Bars are a little easier, so Machete being a ale house that serves all different breweries. They'll be holding it there with their Match Day Live. We'll be supporting them as well. It's going to be pretty fun to be able to do that again together in a fun. It's outdoors almost entirely there. They do an indoor space as well, but we'll probably mostly be outdoors is my guess. But it's, a nice setting there for anybody who wants to roll up, and the best food you can walk to pretty much. within a situation. So I enjoy it a lot. I'll hope to see a few people there, but in terms of, moving forward on these watch parties, I think our goal, right, Victor, is just to kind of create bases around the city, but also give people a signature place to go. That energy is a big part of it, kind of keeping people together and giving them a spot, as it is safe to gather more and more in a space, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like I said, I like having people in one space, but you also have to understand people are drinking. They don't want to go too far away from home.
Exactly.
And for those reasons, there's options that are closer to home. And we all understand that, I mean, if you can be there, that's great. It's amazing. We love it. But if you can't, do the safe thing, hang out where you can, stay close to home if you need to. And we'll see you at the next game. But
we got our partners, Second Chance, right, in Carmel Mountain Ranch. We have our Three Punks down in Chula Vista. We also have Creative Creature over in East County in El Cajon there next to Urge. And then you have Thorn Street, which is in Barrio Logan, as well as on Thorn. That's pretty easy to find.
I will say we are still continuing to work on more places. We've gotten some comments and emails and messages about North County spots. I, like I've said a couple times, am currently in Phoenix, Arizona, but I live in Vista. So I am in North County, and I have a few things I'm going to be working on to try to get some more spots up there, as far as locals, discounts, and partners, and that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. I need to kind of reach out again and relight that fire, have a couple beers with the right people, and maybe we can rekindle some conversations and have some more locations for locals to gather who don't want to travel for, say, a centralized party, but still want to watch with other members and other fans. So.
Yeah, show your she chain. I was going to say keychain, maybe a she chain, maybe someday, but like a very feminine, positive keychain. A keychain. The idea, you can flash that or your membership card and be able to get discounts too at these places. That's kind of the whole idea. Is we take care of them, they take care of us, and we make them places that locals are welcome to drink with bum. All over the city and give you somewhere just down the street from you. Just if you want to have a nice meeting with a friend after work or be able to watch a game. Either way is kind of the idea of the network here of supporting locals. Locals on locals, I call it. People don't like that. So drink with bum is the other thing we're calling it. And that's nice too. I like that good. But man, the other thing I was thinking of, and I've been talking with our friends at Chavos about this, is doing a night before the opening match. The opening match, we don't have a tailgate. We can't meet there at USD. It's just not allowed on a campus. It's their rules, as well as we're just not quite there yet, I think, as a facility to be able to host that. So we're trying to figure out something. We were thinking maybe even like a bonfire Fiesta Island would probably be the ideal kind of situation. So look for more on that. I'm just putting that out there and giving Victor work as well, although him and I have talked about this a little bit, so I'm not surprising him too much. And I've promised that I'll go at whatever time I do at 8 a.m. to get a fire pit if I have to. So yeah, it's going to be a fun thing. We're thinking that that night before the match, that Friday, we're able to get together and kind of have everybody do some drums, hang out, and maybe do a little bit of what we could do before a game the night before, and then be able to have everybody safely kind of arrive at the match the next day, and then file into wherever you're sitting, hopefully with us in 109, right? But wherever you are in the stadium, you can go and then maybe in and out of your exit. That's also part of it, is I think they might have some segmented kind of arrivals as well, and that's just the kind of thing that the club's going to have to do until it sounds about middle of June here, and then we'll have a little bit more released capacity for some of these things. So exciting times, guys. I don't know. I'm looking forward to burning stuff and maybe having some smoke in the stadium as well. Not coordinated together, fires and smoke, but maybe fire and then some smoke. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. And then regarding the stadium stuff, like I said, I have been kind of disconnected. So we'll be in touch with the club, and we'll have details for next week's podcast. Of course. It's changing almost week by week. It feels like, in terms of what's going to be allowed very quickly. It feels like the first game might have a lot of restrictions, and then very quickly after the next few games, it might change. So we're just trying to keep you up to date as we know, and anything we know and solidify, we will bring to you as soon as we can. So we appreciate you sticking with us on these things, because it is always changing. But one of the things that, because the first game is closed at this point, you can't buy tickets if you are not an existing season ticket member, or know someone who is, or maybe has a ticket they want to give away. We have some friends at Two Balls who are crashing the party. They wanted to say hi to Victor and say, what's up, Victor? But Tony wants to jump on here and let us know about an offer he has for anybody who's listening or wants to take advantage of this, who's a Locals member.
So first of all, thank you for letting me into your space once again. I don't know how I snuck in yet again.
No.
But
the back door, we leave the back door open for you, Tony.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, so since the pandemic, before the pandemic started, we had the idea to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and have season tickets to give away, essentially like a radio station would. We're kind of internet radio station in a sense, right? So we're going to go ahead and we went ahead and bought season tickets for the entire full season. And we're going to go ahead and give 2 tickets to each home game. Obviously, with these upcoming days, the 2 first games is going to be a limited capacity. So I think unless, like you said, Drew, somebody's going to be, bonkers enough to give away those tickets, that's on to them. Good on you. But we're going to offer tickets to these first 2 games. So I don't know. There's many places where you can get tickets for the first 2 home opening matches. So we're going to be giving away tickets to every single home match going into this season, obviously starting with Las Vegas in May 29th, and moving into the second game against LA Galaxy 2, and then the rest of the season. We have pretty much a Google form that you can fill out. If I can see if I can do this.
I'm gonna see if I can drop it in the chat here for you.
Yeah, perfect.
There we go. Boom.
Awesome.
Don't know if it linkifies, but you can copy and paste it.
Awesome. So I know a lot of the people that listen to the Locals and are familiar with us are probably already season ticket holders, but I'm pretty sure they know a couple people that have been asking, hey, can you get me in? Hey, how can I get some tickets? So this is the way.
Sweet tickets.
Exactly. So at least for this first game, this is gonna be where the link is gonna take you. Go ahead and put your email in. So if you want to put brabbit@sbcglobal.net, then just give us a little answer as far as why you should win the tickets. Is this going to necessarily affect who we give the tickets to? Not really. It's going to be at random, but we want to hear exactly why you want to go. Also, I would hate for a Las Vegas Lights fan to win these tickets, so I'm kind of vetting in this way. So I need to know why you want to be there. Like, what's your true intention?
There's a qualifier, yeah.
Exactly. And so hopefully this way we can have a lot of people in the stadium that want to experience the team, the atmosphere, and everything that, Locals and Chavos have been able to offer, in these watch parties that you guys have been talking about. And, fantastic work, Victor. I've seen him, be the ambassador for these type of events here over in National City, Machete and stuff, just bringing everything together. And that's something very wonderful that I love to see. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be coming up at every single home game. We have tickets. Some tickets we're going to be given away to people that are essential workers that we know, some local athletes, soccer players from local high schools say, here you go, enjoy a game, guys. We might hand you guys a camera and tell you guys, hey, vlog your experience, tell us what it was like. We'll have you on the show just so you can talk about exactly what you enjoyed, didn't enjoy, maybe, but that's kind of what we have coming up, guys. And these tickets are going to be in the local section 109. However, for this first 2 sections, always a comma after however, we're going to be in section 107, just in case you aren't a friend who is vaccinated. That's no problem. You could still win these tickets and able to join in these first 2 sections. So from what I heard from our connection in the club, they're trying, and I'll have more information tomorrow, to get us into the front row for these first 2 games.
Cool.
So, that's something that you can't get closer to the action. Literally, nobody else can unless you win these tickets or, have a cool friend that isn't going to make it to that day.
They're gonna get you guys to the front row, and they're gonna put everybody else in that entire rail 1 row back. So literally nobody else can be closer.
It's just like you have a Pope structure around you where it's like a glass encasing. So it's not obstructing, but yeah, it's like a Pope box essentially. Yeah,
like a penalty box in hockey.
Yeah, exactly. The 2 balls box. But it's exciting. I think anybody who has a friend who's just like not invested fully but loves soccer and really wants to get in here, or maybe just hasn't experienced it yet live. I think that for a lot of people, Tony and I had talked about this, it's really different when you get there live because you just appreciate the game, the speed of the kick, the way the ball moves, the turn, all of that you don't see on a camera or on your really high def TV. It just still isn't there. And the energy of the stadium, obviously what we bring to the section it comes through in the speakers of your TV, but it's just not the same as the raucous thing you feel in your bones being there. Even if you're in a section adjacent or whatever across the stadium, you're still going to be there. So as you said, it is section 109 for some of these tickets, and they can move you to section 107 as well. For 109, if you want to be right here with us, as Espen asked a little bit before, we kind of went over this a little bit in terms of that, which would be vaccine cards. So our section is vaccinated or tested. Those are the requirements to appear in section 109. You have a couple weeks here to sort that out in terms of how you want to present that. The club can also provide you opportunities, so interface with them and your season ticket member in terms of that. If you are concerned, or if you're a friend who is getting a ticket, interface with your person who is interfaced with the season ticket member. But that is the idea here, is to have everybody be safe, and that way we can have a lack of social distancing because we've done our social testing and clearing, if you will. And therefore we're good. So we can operate with masks and kind of do most of the things we would do normally, but with masks, obviously, for the first few games here.
And thank you, Drew, for iterating that, because we don't want any surprises, especially if you're buying,
Yeah, sorry.
We all got the email saying, season ticket holders, we can buy, single game tickets for family and friends. Please make sure if you do that to communicate that to those people, because we don't want any surprises, right? As leadership of the locals and being section 109, there's a responsibility, that we have to communicate what the requirements are. And the requirements right now are, like Drew said, vaccinations and testing. So we don't want any surprises. We don't want any nasty emails. We don't want any DMs or anything like that. So please, please, please communicate that to all your family and friends. There's not going to be any sort of like walkovers. If you have a ticket elsewhere and you want to like walk over to this section because you think it's going to be cool and fun, that's not going to happen. So just make sure we're open and honest with people, because we don't want to have to we want to enjoy the game too. We don't want to be standing at the top of the section going, sorry, no, sorry, no, sorry, no, like fighting battles all the time. So please, like Drew said a couple times, and now I said a couple times, communicate, be open and honest about what the requirements are, because we want everybody to enjoy game day.
Yeah, just make it smooth, easy, and fun. That's kind of the idea with the night before, too, is to get all our manic energy out that you would have possibly at a pregame, and that way we can bring the energy and noise directly to the game the next day. But again, safely and in a manner that the club has kind of asked us to here. So if you can't fulfill those requirements, that's okay. They will reseat you. They won't take away your ticket or anything. So just ask to be reseated, and they will have a space for you. It's just a question of making sure that everybody's intersection does fulfill those requirements. So thank you, Two Balls, guys. That's really awesome. We also had a cool question from Nick Duffy in terms of, are the loyal select boys going to be in the stands with us if they are not part of the match day team? We'll find out at some point. We've asked about that. I think the answer is like a resounding yes. We would love to have them do that. It's just a question of, safety and that kind of stuff. And obviously with vaccinated and whatever, it should be available. It's just a question of coordinating, I guess, at that point. But it's just, time, probably a few games in. But that's a great question, man. We should definitely keep following up on that one. But Tony, thank you. And thank you to Chiva Ball over there as well.
Yeah, we have our intern, Mike. We don't use him as much. He,
okay.
Yeah, unsettling take sometimes.
It's good. It's good to know his name, because I've just looked him in the eyes before, and it's been this awkward silence of me trying to figure out what his name is, and I feel like we've met before, and so
we got the Two Balls. Obviously, we need the mic. We send them out on the field whenever we're at work or at lunch.
You're good at this.
Yeah.
I would. Tony's just waving to me now, but it's an audio podcast, so I'm gonna layer that in there because it's funny. There is a lot of advantages. Abel said you get to hear Donovan yell. This is very true. You get to hear him say the F word in person. It's really fun. So definitely sign up for this, or definitely get some of your friends to sign up. Again, the link is here in the comments, and we'll probably retweet whatever they put out as well on Twitter and on the Instagrams, and never on Facebook. Just kidding, on Facebook as well. Wherever Two Balls is found, we will help kind of push this word out. But thanks to those guys. And generally to the whole community here for making it a thing that we bring people into and they want to be a part of. So thank you to everybody. We're going to move into a post show here. We've got some amazing questions from our locals in the Discord. A lot have to do with Victor's modeling, so I'm going to save these for the post show. I'm going to throw up a little just teaser here of what we're going to talk about. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Just so relaxed by the pool there.
You're good.
So we're gonna get to this here. So we're gonna break this down. Maybe Tony will hang out with us, and we're gonna run to a post show. But I want to just thank you guys. Thank you so much. Any closing thoughts, Victor?
Can you guys hear me? My mic died, so I'm using the phone. Can you guys hear me?
You sound good. Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool, perfect. Well, first of all, again, thank you for having me for the podcast, and to all of you guys that have been able to make it to the event, whether it's the drum circles or the watch parties. Loving it. I think we were all dying for it, and I can't wait to see you guys the night before the game and at the game for those of you guys that are going to make it, and at future events. I mean, this is why we were here. This is why the locals was created to build that culture. And you know what? Last season we got a little taste of it, and this season I can't wait for what's to come.
Yeah, man. Couldn't say it better myself. Steve, what are you feeling?
I can't wait. That's all I can really say. I can't wait. Let's get this done this weekend. Some fun activities this weekend too. The watch party, and then we've got some stuff going on Sunday that's going to be pretty fun. But that impacts the home opener as well. So yeah, this is going to be a sweet weekend, and I'm looking forward to getting home. So yeah, can't wait.
Home. I love that. Come home. Come home, Steve. Run home, Steve. Run home, Jack.
I would run home right now for sure.
The old hook bit. Tony, give me one word to summarize your experience here tonight, and/or
amazing.
Mike, give us your closing thoughts.
He's on timeout still, so we can't allow that to.
I was really hoping for 10 seconds of silence, Tony, where we just sat there in silence, and then I go, "Okay, thanks, Mike," and. Well, thank you guys, and we'll be hitting the outro here. So thank you so much for your time and putting up with our silliness. But let's go, locals, and head out whenever we feel like it. Nope, replaying. Now I'm switching audio. Now we're in a post show. This is the post show because Drew's switching his audio. This is me trying to be Jerry with a virtual interface. He's got a nice actual audio interface in front of him where he just presses a button and stuff happens. And I'm flipping between 3 screens here to make it happen on a free. Look at that. Look at what Two Balls has over there.
Same one Jerry uses. So
that looks like a dance floor from Studio 54 there. That's pretty
fancy.
Pretty
fancy.
Cool. Pretty fancy stuff you got there, Two Balls. But let's break down some of these questions.
Let's do it.
Let's get. So, what is your favorite brand of apple juice, Victor? That's from Brandon Rodriguez.
Brandon, I love apple juice. It's actually one of my favorite drinks to have in the morning.
You have a favorite Manzanita soda as well.
I love Manzanita soda. You gotta love Manzanita soda. That's definitely growing up a go-to. At the taco shop or just having Mexican meal at a restaurant. But recently, I think the brand is called Martinelli's. It's my kids. They're all on TikTok, right? So you have that we get them at Costco, and it's that one. It sounds like you're taking a bite out of the plastic little container. Have you guys seen that on TikTok?
No.
So so Costco has a little. You can grab it with your hand. It looks like an apple. It's apple juice. I think it's Martinelli's. And as you're drinking it, if you bite the outside of the container, it sounds like you're biting an apple. You have to look that up.
Right on.
I believe it. They have that. Yeah, they have that nice kind of shape to them, and just the high quality cider. It's definitely when you showed up to Thanksgiving as a kid and there was some Martinelli's there. It was like,
Yeah.
This is going to be a fine evening.
Sure.
This is
that was
rolling
the
with
sign you were about
class.
to have a good time. Yeah.
This is fantastic. I am in a world of luxury at this moment, so I feel you there. Why is Victor Lopez such a good-looking hunk of a man?
Oh, I know who that came from. Thank you,
This is
Nick.
from Nick Duffy.
Thank you. Appreciate you
Good-looking
coming.
hunk of a man.
So tell that story. How did that happen?
What's that?
Sorry, Nick.
How you got to be the model for San Diego Lowe's scarf?
Oh man, it actually goes back to Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. What was it? It was our season ticket holder tour. I think that we all got to, most of us got to do. I went to the tour. I got to tour, talked to a bunch of the staff members there, and I remember connecting with Ryan. That's the first time I met Ryan. Ryan looks at me. He goes, "You look very familiar." And I go, "Do I?" He goes, "Yeah, I feel like I use you on a lot of my shots." And I go, "Yeah, you do. I do come on a lot of the shots." And we kind of joked about it a little bit. I think it was like a week or so later. It was the day before Thanksgiving. They sent me a message, or maybe a little before that, asking if my family and I wanted to join them for a little photo shoot. They were going to be reaching out to some season ticket holders, and I was one of them. And being honest, we're like, yeah, let's do it. We want to be part of that. And it actually, because of COVID, got postponed. The merch that we're rolling out, there was something wrong with it. And then they kept saying, hey, next week. And then it kind of just died out. They stopped messaging. I'm okay with that. If it wasn't going to happen, it wasn't going to happen. And then right before the season, they sent me a message. Ryan goes, hey, man, long time no talk. Are you available tomorrow? Of course I am. I'm available. My wife literally called out to work that day. She's like, oh, yeah, we want to do that. Like most of you guys, some of you guys know, I'm lucky I work from home, or, I live and work here. So I talked to the boss. I go, hey, I'm getting off early. I'm going to be part of a photo shoot. Obviously super excited about that. There's a little bit more to the story that hasn't really, been public yet, and at some point it will, but it was definitely full of surprises. It was full of surprises. I was lucky enough to get some free gear. My wife and daughter got the replica kit, which it was pretty cool to see it for the first. I was super confused when I saw it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the day before, Brandon, if he's still on here, Brandon had posted something about the green jersey, and I was like, oh my gosh, the green jersey! I was like excited for it, but obviously it wasn't the green jersey; it was a replica. So when I saw it, I was so confused. I was like, what is this? First time I see it, they kind of told me what it was. It was pretty cool. We took the photo shoot, and they were here at my home for maybe about an hour and a half, and took a bunch of pictures. Did a lot of talking, and there's still some stuff out there that hasn't been revealed yet. So,
all right,
yeah, I know I couldn't find the. I was trying to pull it back up at the email, but it's got great pictures of your kids and having the whole family involved. It's great to have everybody in there and kind of have the whole Lopez clan is pretty cool. So it's the family stories is definitely like what the whole thing is about in terms of growth and passing it down and building that appreciation of here's your first visit to the store and that kind of stuff, and to have it commemorated that kind of way is pretty cool and fun.
It is, and it is, and we talked a little bit about it during the podcast. It's just passing it on. I know that years from now, it's funny, I coming into, meeting my wife, she wasn't a soccer fan. She became a soccer fan because of me. I can tell you that other than me, in my household, San Diego Loyal is the team. I'm the León fan here. They all go, no, San Diego Loyal is better. San Diego. Nice. And you know what? I'm a little upset at that because I wish my kids had the same love for León as I do, but they love Loyal. This is their hometown, so
make them listen to the radio.
Yeah,
make them listen to the radio. Don't let them watch the games. The León games.
You got to respect that.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
It's a dad move right there. Just kind of pull rank. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is your filter. Sorry, I'm going to filter it for you.
Hold on.
You're going to appreciate it when you're
guys a little bit. Hold on 1 second.
All right. We're going to lose Victor in a minute. I've got a couple more questions. Duffy asked 15 questions, so I'm going to selectively choose like one or two that are the best, I think, for you. So Nick also did have a lot of great questions too, but I'm going to give everybody about one or two. Duffy's best question, objectively, is what character does Victor play as in Mario Kart? Mario Kart? Why did I say Mario? No one says Mario.
No.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I need to drink a little more.
Oh,
What
man.
character do you play as in Mario Kart, Victor? The very normal way to say Mario.
Dude, I actually didn't see that. I kind of was reading some of the questions, to be honest, to get ready for them. Mario Kart.
Yes, that's what you say.
Dating back to Super Nintendo, man, because that's when we all started playing Mario Kart, right? It was the Super Nintendo back then.
Yeah. The OG.
Was it for Speed, Yoshi, or I want to say, yeah,
Yoshi man.
Yeah,
You like the Yoshi. Yeah, I respect that. Yoshi's a solid choice. I'm a Toad man myself.
Oh.
Yeah,
Rock with the Toad.
too. Yeah, Toad. That was always a good option too. I always went for like the little smaller characters because you think they're gonna be faster. And, obviously, that's not the real reason.
It's just when you win, he goes, Misa win! Yay! It's way
Yeah,
better.
I love Mario Kart though. I
mean,
love
like-
Mario Kart.
Dude, yeah. I still have N64, and I still bust that thing out when I've had too many beers and there's people.
Oh yeah, he does. Well, that
It's
he's like
time.
way better at it. So it's so annoying because like I haven't played 64 in like I don't know 10 years. When I used to, I did it on a 64 in college. So it's like probably since then. And then yeah, I've lost the muscle memory of specifically how to do it. But then it comes back pretty quickly. Then you're like, oh, now and then you're just a couple races and you're like, I got this. I'm back in it. So it's pretty fun.
Recently played it on the Switch with the little.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's so fun, you know.
Yeah, with the actual geometry. Yeah, and the I did with the phone for a bit when it came onto the phone, and it's got like a whole different track there. But it is incredible what they can do with the graphics now and sliding and kind of like drift. It's like Tokyo Drift meets Mario Kart. It's like a whole new thing. But I'll take my 64 any day, just to mainline it. That NFL Blitz. It's another good jam.
Oh yeah,
just where you can just commit murder after plays. You know. Nobody died. They're polygons. Most of them don't look like humans anyway. So
64 for me was all these GoldenEye.
Yeah,
oh yes.
Yeah.
Spent hours playing that game.
I was like the
Slaps only.
first player shooter.
See, Victor had friends. He played GoldenEye with his friends.
That's why I had him
fun.
on.
Yeah, that's why I played Cruising USA by myself. I cruised the USA. No, I had siblings. It was also just like whenever they weren't playing to not beat me up too. Because if I beat them, then they beat me up. And then if you win, then if they win, it's like, oh, then they shove it in your face. So it's a lose-lose scenario for me with two older brothers who are bigger and stronger. That would happen. Believe it or not, as big as I am, they were bigger and stronger. They might be smaller now, but they were bigger and stronger then. But this is another good B-Rod one. What... no, I'm just kidding. He's saying which chess piece came. Most of these are silly. There was ones about nuclear power plants, carne asada or al pastor fries, or asado fries. You can also throw that in there.
I mean, for that's a tough one, man. That's a very tough one.
No.
I mean, you keep it traditional with the carne asada fries, but tacos al pastor, carne asada fries. I'll go that way.
I'll eat both.
Yeah.
That sounds like lunch. Let's go.
Yeah. Do a mix of both. I'll take it, man. I love
maybe
it.
that's machete.
Tony, what do you think? Which one? Come on.
Cappuccino fries. You got the best mix of both, right? That's
Yeah.
That's because this is America and we can do that. Because carne asada fries do not exist in Mexico. Let me break that now, right? So, this is America. Choose both.
It's a California invention. Yeah.
Dude, I have a crazy story from back in 2009 maybe. I used to be in a car club, Mustang car club, and we had a car show up in Pomona. And I remember we had to be there at 7 to roll up the cars, roll them into the kind of line them up. And we left early and hung over. So we were hungry, man. And my buddy and I decided to walk around and this is before Uber Eats, Postmates, and all that stuff. So we had to walk around and look for a taco shop. And luckily we found one that was within walking distance in Pomona. It's called the City of Laverne, near Pomona. And we walk up to the taco shop, and I remember sitting down, we finally get, some assistance, and the lady goes, "What are you guys gonna have?" And obviously, San Diegans right away. "Oh, we'll just have a California burrito." And she looks at us like, "What? What?" And we go, "California burrito." And she goes, and I can see some people kind of looking at us. And she goes, "What is that?" I go, "It's a carne asada fries. You're gonna throw. I mean, it's kind of carne asada burrito. You're gonna throw some fries in there." Kind of started describing the burrito itself. And they all look at us like we're crazy, man.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Yes, exactly. So I go,
and then you're like,
yeah, exactly. So after getting a few weird stares and her not understanding what we're asking for, I go, "Forget about it. We'll just take some carne asada fries."
yeah.
I literally had people turn around and go, "Where are you guys from?" And we're like, "San Diego." And she goes, "What is carne asada fries?" And I go, "Your nachos? You replace those with fries." And she goes to the back, and she goes, she comes back. She goes, "All right, guys." So I talked to the chef. We can do a La Verna burrito. She tried to explain what that was. No, we don't want that. We ended up selling it for nachos. We're like, "We'll just take nachos." I think we actually asked them, can you replace the nacho chips with fries? And they looked at us and they go, "Yeah, it'll be like a charge of another $10 for that." I go, "No, forget about it."
Yeah.
You've insulted us. We're now charging.
Yeah.
So I just love like the record scratch moment where the guy turns around like,
"Oh, that was priceless." I still remember the guy's face. It was an older gentleman too. I remember going, "Forget about it. We'll just take some carne asada fries." And the guy literally just goes like, where are you guys from? And we go, "San Diego." What are you talking about? So,
I love that in the story they went back and spoke to a chef.
Yeah, the chef.
Like that's just Juanito back there. Just that. Oh, let's consult with the chef.
Yeah.
That's gonna be another $10
request.
But yeah, I'll take both, man. I love both. I love my carne asada, or you gotta have al pastor. And I might get this wrong, but you gotta have it from the El Trompo. You gotta have it like right off of that.
Yeah. When I went to Mexico City, that's what we always got tacos from that. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's crazy how much of a bubble we live in here in San Diego. Like, I think in the meat to mouth discussion, it was part of that, right? If you go a couple miles more north, there it is. It just keeps evolving. I love it.
It's so good.
A couple miles.
I'll do it for you if you buy me meat.
Oh, right. That's all you have to do.
Buy me a taco.
Requirement. But no, we just live in a great little bubble where like LA, food is I mean, like most things LA, it's all right. Like
it's overrated, yeah.
Right.
You go anywhere there and it's like Pink's and you wait an hour and you're like, this was a hot dog. Okay. But yeah, it's like if you're silly enough to, but yeah, it's like that's the thing is it's always an experience there, but the experience is always like, well, it was the experience, and you're like, but the experience wasn't great either. Versus here, the experience is so immediately tied to either the food itself or the anticipation of the food that it's all kind of like about the product. I don't feel like anybody's ever like bullshitting you. Like there is the views where it's like, hey, our view of the ocean, but that's not bullshit. It's like, we have this amazing view of the ocean and our food's okay. Like that's their bit, right? Like, so no one here is really like trying to scam you. It's just more so like, maybe they have a thing going, but usually here they just won't exist because the rent is too high that you can't really have like a terrible deal, right? You have to have some game that at least people want to play. And, that seems to be what I like about San Diego places is they do have that definite like edge about them of like, we're just about this, like Carnitas Shack. We're about the shack, man.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some carnitas, and so now it's great, way to make that more popularized and out there in the gringo culture. But like there's ways of taking concepts and making them more proliferated to bring the food in a different level that San Diego can do that I just have felt like other cities try, but they become lost in this like cacophony, whereas we can elevate it here because people will align with it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
The cacophony?
I just got a call I got to take, so I'm going to sign off, but you guys enjoy.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing this just a couple more minutes, so not too long, but it's good to see you, man.
I'll see you all this weekend.
Again, run home or fly, either way, whichever one's easier.
For sure. All right, see you guys.
See you
later, buddy. Love you. Love that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Did you not like the word cacophony, Tony? Did you
No,
have a weird
I
face?
love it. No, I like when there's those tier 2, tier 3 vocabulary just comes out of somebody just so seamlessly. It's wonderful. Again, with my
You look like a bat flew in, like the cacophony. That was straight up your reaction.
What's everybody's non-Mexican favorite Mexican food in San Diego, though? Because I mean, I think
That's a great question.
We stay stuck in it where, well, this has, cuatro milpas, there's this type of birria over here, but, there's some wonderful pho, some wonderful Filipino cuisine. There's some great, Creole food. There's just, just so much.
Indian food too. Indian food.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Versus even other parts of the country for sure. Like Milwaukee has shitty Indian food. It's no good. Mexican food is also terrible there too. What good food do they have? German food, obviously, but like they don't have great. Yeah, they don't have great like the Chinese though. They do have some great Chinese. Versus here, I don't know if our Chinese game, besides Convoy, is super strong in certain areas. Especially areas where you think it could be better. So there's certain stuff where I'm like, hey, step your game up, cuisine X all over town. At least like maybe have places a little bit more that are accessible. So. But there is just so much, like, especially when you go to Convoy and you unpack it, it's like there's like 20 different cuisines represented.
Yeah. Go to Mexicali for good Mexico, good Chinese food. That's the place to go.
Yeah.
Just
Really? There's a place on Plaza Boulevard, Royal Mandarin. Have you guys been there before?
Shout out National City.
Yes.
National City, Royal Mandarin, man.
Exactly.
I still make the drive down there. I'll order the day before. I'll get the salt and pepper wings. I'll get the there's a whole menu. That place is amazing.
Now Tony's gonna make fun of me for not getting tacos and coming to National City again. Now I'm gonna pick up Royal Mandarin, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean I would not fault you for that. Those salt and pepper chicken wings again, another next level item. It's just wonderful. There's lines, just giant trays of coming out every other minute there.
That's not a bad idea for this Saturday, man. Get some wings from Royal Mandarin and have them at Machete. It's not bad.
Oh yeah, I think that's where I'm going, man. So if anybody wants to join me with my Chinese in the back of Machete, I will be there.
Machete has been. They've been promoting next to Machete. You used to have Salud, who I don't know, business COVID it died out. They just opened up a new birria place next to them, and they've been promoting them on their social media. So that's something to try too. If you like birria, if you haven't had it, it's delicious. And I mean, they've been talking about them a lot, so that's a good option too. Right next door, you can literally walk over and you pick it up.
Los Birria Kings.
Birria Kings, yeah, that's what it's called. Birria Kings.
Some people are saying Thai food. We do have a strong Thai food game, stronger than most. Afmir pointing that out. Nick obviously shouting out Kiwi. We do have incredible lamb burgers and Kiwi eats at all these places that you just wouldn't get. You don't see New Zealand eateries to the proliferation here, that they're mostly owned by the same people, but it's like there is just like, it seems like there's 12 where there was 0 6 years ago. So it is pretty cool to see all these places kind of proliferating different cultures and different foodscapes for us that my mouth wasn't used to 10 years ago. So I'm, as Afmer said, I'm very hungry right now. Szechuan House Mayor Mesa, yeah, Nick, that is one of the ones. But again, like I feel like I'm being hard on Chinese cuisine because it was so, there were certain types, there that I felt like were elevated. But it is one of those things where I feel like because of the high rent here, it's just not as able to find that same like profit margin space that I think it's able to find in other markets that, create, more value for what you're getting, in terms of what's there. So there is places, as we're shouting out, that are kind of like those places, but I feel like in every other city there's like 5 times more that like could be here. So there's, and that's true of like a lot of places too, where you're like, what can we grow our cuisine maybe that aren't just in that area, and shout out places that aren't just like the easy, like, hey, burritos, tacos, X place that I love, because I do think it is a growing spectrum of foods, spectrum of meats that must go in my mouth. Honestly, kebab shop, if you want, instead of like fast food, like holy crap, like if you're gonna spend $10 at a place like Chipotle, what the hell are you doing? Go to kebab shop. There's one probably near the Chipotle you're going to, and eat that instead. So if you want that kind of thing, and even if you're like, well, Chipotle's not Mexican food, it's just a thing I eat, you're spending the same amount of money to go to kebab shop, and it's locally owned. So go to kebab shop. Moral of the story. Drew wants to get kebab shop as a sponsor for this podcast. I would probably weigh 300 pounds though.
I remember
if you want to see how much bigger than my brothers I can get Kebab Shop as a sponsor.
I used to sell fish back in a past life. Pretty much, I was the Michael Scott instead of paper. I used to sell fish. So they're one of the customers, and so they're good people. Good, they buy good quality stuff. Like I have a running list of people who get good quality fish to some places that you would be like, wow, really? They are allowed to sell fish?
Right.
So,
and their prices are great for the quality and for what they do, and it always tastes great. It is one of those places where you do kind of eating it fresh, as I say, is a big deal, because if you eat it within the first 20 minutes, it's going to be such a transcendent experience that you're just like, you almost just like inhale it to where you're like, you don't remember eating it because it was just like, and you chew it, but it's like, oh my god, you get the like 10-minute like lock in snake phase with it where it's pretty delicious. So I don't know, man. I'm pretty big into it. Nick is saying that we don't have Turkish here, but it kills in New Zealand. They do a killer meat chips, which is kind of like carne asada fries with kebab meat, which sounds excellente based on this discussion. But yeah, we're gonna have to whenever I get a backyard, I'm going to get a vertical meat spindle. Speaking meat to mouth here with the guys, I'm gonna get a vertical meat spindle, and I'm gonna be doing whatever al pastor, kebab, whatever we want to do here. And we're going to make it happen, Nick. So we're going to make it rain lamb beef all over the 15 corridor, wherever I end up finding a backyard somewhere. But currently in the condo garage life, that is unavailable to me to have. I could do it, but it would be a lot of questions about why did we buy this, and we have no space for it, and where does it go? And those questions would not come from me.
You just put the food in their mouth before they can even say anything.
It's like a Brazilian steakhouse. You flip their card over, and then you bring your own meat card, and then you just flip it over. But that's what I want my backyard to be. I want to invite friends over, and I just want to be like putting, meats in, on their plates, and then they can put them in their mouth.
Okay. I'm in that phase too. Yeah. I'm pretty decided I'm going to start with a smoker at some point very soon.
Oh yeah.
I started with the perfection of the iron skillets and whatnot. So, that's taken care of. Now I need to like evolve. And so
let me show you this grill. I'm going to pull up something. So Artec Bullseye. So
you got to watch that show on Netflix. There's a show on Netflix all about like meat smoking.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. And I think, Drew, you're talking about the Rectech.
Yeah, the Rectech, bro.
Oh boy,
But there's the Bullseye. So the Bullseye is not that expensive, actually. So the Rectech is fantastic. It's a smoker. It's got all the pellets. It does everything right. Yeah. It's kind of like a Traeger, right? If you're familiar with Traeger, another great brand. Rectech's kind of stepping it up. My brother had Traegers, and then was like, he's the smoker guy in the family, and threw away his Traeger. He's like, this is garbage now. Now I have a Rectech, and I was like, okay. And I was it's like whatever. So anyway, so Rectech's another company that does. And to me, I'm like, dude, you're just kind of chasing a dragon here. But there's one called the Bullseye that's pretty cool. So if you look it up, it's called a Rectech, RECTEQ Bullseye. I'm going to try and pull up the page here and then show you guys. But it's it's kind of like a grill meets a smoker. So it's actually a really practical purchase that if you do have the space to get one, RTB 380. Sounds much more technical than it is. It looks like kind of like a standard grill. Here, I'm going to share my screen. Could get dangerous here. We're about to share the screen. There we go. There we go. All right. Can you guys see what I'm looking at here? So yeah, you see the grill here, the Bullseye. It's only 400, which is, a lot, but for a grill, that's a pretty decent price. And it's a smoker with a pellet. It's over here on the left. That's where the pellet hopper is. Automated. And then you got this here. It's got another thing you can plug into the meat, so you can monitor meat temperature to heat, right? You can say keep the meat at this temperature directly through the grill, and then it's got almost like a jet fuel type engine here, and you can get it up to about 300, or not 300, you can get up to almost 700 degrees in there, almost like a green egg inside here if you really want to sear something, or you can also smoke something at whatever, 200, 250, whatever you want to, as I said, even keeping the meat temperature consistent based on that smoke. So great shout as we're in meat talk here on the podcast.
It's cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's the Bullseye. So that's the dream. Get one of those, get a vertical meat spindle. We have a meat to mouth party. First ever. Let's say 2022 meat to mouth party. We'll see.
Yeah. we have to do that. It has to be a thing. Just
Locals
different-
event, Victor. There you go. Plan it.
We're gonna write that one down.
Invite a bunch of strangers to my house, and I'll feed them meats.
Yes.
There you go. Or wherever. We can do it at a park. Maybe I can wheel this stuff to a park. Maybe I don't want all these people knowing where I live.
You get greeted with meat in your mouth as you walk in.
Yeah.
Just salt bay.
Afmir, I said Fiesta Island. That's where we're probably doing it. It's the jam. We can do whatever. We're planning on maybe drowning a phoenix. If we can find one.
I got people. We'll talk. Just because
I'm not into animal cruelty, but it is a mythical bird, so
exactly.
maybe it never happened.
I
Just
don't think
saying.
PETA covers that, right?
Yeah, PETA doesn't cover mythical birds. And my guess is they've murdered more people than they've helped.
Yeah.
It's not like they're like going around helping nature. They're giant birds on fire.
I love this PETA is terrible. Just transition. Just
Yeah, Drew hates PETA. Drew is anti-animal rights. Drew is not part of Keepers Club at the zoo and goes almost every week. But yeah, no. But phoenixes, I would kill one if I saw one. Just saying. Like
it's annoying because it's gonna come back, right? I mean, that's
Harry Potter tried to. Just saying. Oh,
yeah.
Nobody had a problem with him. They wrote 4 more books.
He did get canceled.
He didn't get canceled. Killed the phoenix. Just saying. Maybe that was 2003. It was very different. It was a very different time. It was very
Cancel culture.
mythical animal, murder. And where does it stop? Do I want to see a dead unicorn? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's certain mythical animals that if they existed, shouldn't. That's all I'm saying.
There's also some animals that do exist and have existed that probably shouldn't either. So,
That is also true. Like carp, they pretty much ruin everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certain fish, certain species that are introduced, right, where they're like, oh, this will solve that problem, and then they become invasive. Stuff like that. Like even kangaroos, as cute as they are, certain Australian people treat them like really weird rodents because they're just so everywhere, right? And they reproduce so quickly and they don't have too many natural predators. So it is interesting every once in a while. And that's that I'm saying after getting an amazing walkabout and watching these beautiful kangaroos at the animal park with my niece. Thinking
about your smoker and those kangaroo thighs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I was watching them. But yeah, some lady was like telling us about that. I was like, oh man, that's really sad. But it's like, I guess it's true. It's kind of like deer or whatever else. At a certain point, people are like, there's so many of these, and it's so hard as humans to not appreciate it. But obviously, this mythical bird would deserve to live, but I wouldn't like it. That's all I'm saying.
So that's the itinerary. Just showing up, drowning a mythical bird.
No, but like showing up, playing drums, hanging out, probably be there, as I said, to earlier, honestly, whenever I have to be there, I'll be there holding it down so people can show up. But mostly I think the idea would be show up, afternoonish if you want to hang out more in the sunlight. And then as it goes darker, we'll have more of a bonfire and then, bring in whatever you feel like, drums, glow sticks, Darude Sandstorm. I don't know.
That's key. Like that song on Dance Dance Revolution. Like I knew I was going on easy mode, but I felt it. I felt like I was going at expert level whenever I played at the arcade with that song.
It was, that or Maya.
Yes.
Yeah.
When people started holding on to the back, that's when I just like, all right, that's too much.
No, it's too much. It's like that becomes that or the flipping and the like. It's about the footwork, guys. It's not about the show. It's about hitting the moves. And they made it into an art, and it was about the game. Come on.
I don't go to the arcade or went to
I still have pads. I actually have PlayStation pads for DDR in my garage somewhere.
Yeah. That was a
Maybe
great
we'll
game.
find a way to do this.
Yeah. Also, like if anybody has Rock Band or Guitar Hero, that'd be swell.
I think this is a future episode of Two Balls. That's all I'm saying. Is us doing Dance Dance in the future.
Dance Dance Revolution. I want to see that. You guys should do it.
Yeah. Okay. We're doing it.
Yeah. We're done.
So I'm going to see if I have any more wonderful questions for Victor. Do you prefer bone? These are specifically about Buffalo Wild Wings. Bone or boneless? Since we were talking about wings before.
Yeah.
It depends on the wing. Sometimes certain
It
things
does.
are better. Yeah.
It does. It does. Jesus. I like both. We do tenders a lot because we have kids. Obviously, I have two kids. I have a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old, so we go with tenders a lot. But there's something about the bone and just I've mastered. My friends always wanted to get me into like a wing eating competition because I have the talent of getting the wing and taking it out dry.
Oh,
So
nice.
fucking love doing that. But yeah, I love both. I love both. I've always wanted to go to B-Dubs, Buffalo Wild Wings, and just do the hot wing challenge there because my friend says, dude, you'll beat it, man. Just do that thing you do, and just it won't face you. Just keep doing it. I always want to do that.
Yeah. And that was Brandon said specifically Buffalo Wild Wings, but you think you would prefer their bone in? But for me, it's like if I'm having like a certain rub, I kind of like it to be more bone in. And then if I'm having a like buffalo, I actually prefer buffalo to be boneless personally. So that's where for me it is like a flavor sauce dependency almost.
Yeah. That's I guess that's the right answer. I like both, but there is something about having the bone there. I like to take the meat off the bone, so it's good.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a carnivore in that way. Like there's an inner bear in me somewhere that just has to gnaw on the bone.
Yeah,
until it goes for sure. I'm definitely there. Yeah, these. I'm looking at these other questions. They're all silly. You can answer them in the Discord if you feel like it. Shout out Discord. Shout out everybody who's still watching. Anybody still watching who has a question as well, feel free to shoot us. But thanks, Victor, man, for rolling with us this long and keep going. But Tony, anything you want to ask Victor while we're all hanging?
I mean, what's the perfect botana? So botana is pretty much your snack of preference, right? When you're watching a sporting event, I personally like my go-to is if I'm really fancy that smoked tuna jerky that I like to just cut up cubes and make like a faux ceviche and just with some dip and chips. It's the perfect thing. But what's the go-to spread? That Super Bowl meal or the World Cup final meal. What's the go-to?
Dude, for me, I know we were just talking about wings and whatnot, but for me, it's seafood. Ceviche, aguachile. I love to cook from scratch. Whenever I have like a good solid day off, I'll drive down to Northgate and get some raw like octopus, some raw shrimp, like early in the morning, and I'll start to lay it out. So, dude, ceviche. I love aguachile. So spicy stuff. Because we're gonna be drinking beer, so I want to be able to drink and get spiced out and keep drinking and keep getting spiced out and keep drinking. So yeah, so aguachile.
Yeah,
See, I'm not a fan of the chile part. Actually, I'm unfortunately a type of Mexican that like pelo rico's Mexican candy that has tamarind. I don't like that. I don't like any of that like chaka Mexican. Breaking news. Like sorry, like to. My image as a pure-hearted Mexican, like I don't like any of that. Like you can have it. Like in piñatas, whenever the rain of candy would fall, and I'd get everything. I'd be everybody's best friend because I'd just hand that stuff and trade it for like duvalines or like mazapanes, the sweet ones. But yeah, I'm a fan of Mexican candy.
If any of you guys ever get to or want to join me for a León trip, man, those games are fun. First of all. I've taken a lot of my friends here from San Diego that have never been to León. We get a hotel. It's a fun experience. In León, they do something that, dude, it's a bolillo. I don't know what that bolillo in English would be. It's a bolillo with a fried pork. It's pork rind, and then they get dilled pork, cueritos, and they do a spicy salsa. And so you get the bolillo, you get the pork rind and the cueritos with the spicy salsa, and it's literally nothing but bread with hot sauce, and it's so good. It's called a guacamaya. And a lot of times when Mexico's playing, and if there's a León player on the field or a player from León, the commentators will talk about, I want to go to León and have a guacamaya. A guacamaya is also a bird, so people get confused. Like, you're gonna eat a bird? No, you're not eating the bird. It's a dish in León, and it's very famous. That's another snack to have.
I think we need to take Drew into the deep end of Mexican cuisine and just
I've had it, but it's like I need the crash course for sure.
Yeah,
just throw it at me.
For anyone here, I don't know if you guys have heard of land ceviche. Have you heard of land ceviche?
Land ceviche?
Yeah, so basically, you get the beef, like the meat for the beef patty. You kind of put it apart, and you get maybe like 20 limes. Squeeze the lime, and you let the meat cook with the limes, and you cut everything you would do for a ceviche. You do the onions, cilantro, um, cucumbers, tomatoes, and you put it all in there. The 20 limes, so the meat is going to cook with nothing but the lime itself, and then you put a little bit of salt over it. Cut some avocados, and you put it into a tostada, and that's a lamb ceviche. It's so good.
I can see that.
Yeah,
That would actually sound delicious.
The flavor.
It's fresh. It's so fresh. I tricked one of my best friends. I described the dish to him. He said, "Dude, I'll never have meat that you didn't cook with nothing but lime." And he came over to my house. I got the tostada, put the lamb ceviche, put a bunch of hot sauce over it, and I tricked him, and he loved it. Now he loves it.
Padres won. That's why I was being.
There you go.
But yeah, also that sounds delicious. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's that's the kind of stuff that I need to just like somebody needs to take me somewhere and be like, put this in your mouth. And I'm like, okay.
That's the Bum TV show, right? Like just like you sit down and you're provided with these different various meats in different forms that you've never had. And let's not get too wild and like start handing you some balot and stuff. So that would be a different like Fear Factor Bum TV type show. But no, I think that'd be great.
No, just I want to just me describing the meat in various forms. I think would be pretty good. Kind of Anthony Bourdain if he was stupid, kind of thing.
I miss it so much.
I know. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we definitely want to do, though. I think going to places and showing off, like, hey, there's this thing that people just don't know about, and then all locals start going there, like, oh my god, this is the thing, and like all of us know about it, but like nobody else does, and like it's part of the culture. Like that's totally the stuff that I would love to see is that kind of growth and where we got to get to. But one more question, since Nick posted it, he really wanted you to know about this, is what is the toughest animal you could win a fight against? Not against. You could win a fight against, meaning twice. You'd have to fight them more than once.
Oh, man.
Or against. Either way. It's fine.
Toughest animal that I can win a fight. Dude, animals are strong, man. I'm going to say my dog because I fight it every day.
You know you could definitely win.
No, honestly, like I always told my wife, I want a dog. I mean, some of you guys know I got a new puppy, and I love that cat bird, Muffin. And I play rough with her, man. I've always told my wife I want a dog that I can get home and tackle. Like my dog that I want, it's an Alaskan Malamute, something huge that I can get home and slap it a few times and then tackle it to the floor and get a couple scratches on my arms. I do have that in me. I want that. Let's fight.
I had Goldens, and it was totally that, who were just like big Goldens, and it was so fun to just get home and have two of them just be like, Rah! It's so fun, and then just like take them on. So yeah, there is a fun to that. Whereas Alfie, his 11-pound self, cannot. He does play pretty good, to be fair. He has scratched me in the face and drawn blood a couple times, to be fair, for a little dog. So he's got his ways, but yeah, it's not the same thing where you can kind of match him size for size. It's always kind of fun to go against. For me, it's like that's the thing, is like raccoon, but like they're a scratchy, right? I would say they're tougher animals. They're not tough. What's the toughest animal? I think a crocodile, because I know the tricks of holding the mouth closed and going Steve Irwin style, going around the back.
Like just get in there though, would you though? Like
the same way I'd take on the Phoenix, man. I just have no fear when it comes to mythical and prehistoric animals. They don't belong on this planet anymore, and I'm going to show them the way out. That's how I feel. I'm like The Rock, circa 1997, where nothing's touching this ring. Yeah, that's how I feel about those kind of. No, I'm probably with Victor. Probably dogs. Maybe a coyote. I feel like I could take on. Because I feel like I've faced them. I'm familiar enough with them. I know them. Like I've lived with them. Yeah, I could take on. I don't know. I've heard deer kill people before. So who knows?
I'm thinking way too lofty here. I was like, well, I don't want to go with dog, cat, bird, home pets. I don't think I can.
Even bobcat, dude. It's not that big, but
it's gonna mess you up. But
oh yeah,
I'm thinking a little bit more docile, like farm animals. Like if I had to, it's either going to be between a cow and a horse, just because a cow is a little bit more docile than a horse. But there's ways around those type of things. If we're going to go with your Steve Irwin analogy, and that you're well versed.
Are you saying bull, or are you saying like cow?
No, like a tame milking cow.
Like a milk cow. Okay, like a heifer. Yeah,
exactly. Like mama cow. Like just knock her out a couple times. Just because again, this is assuming this is just hand, fist, and
if you had to. You met a cow in a street alley, and the cow pulled out a switchblade, and it's like, "Where's your wallet, Tony?" And you're like, "Okay,
you're done."
That Kung Fu Hustle move scene, or Kung Fury, one of the two.
Yeah, I know you're like Kung Fu. Yeah.
There's a second one coming out. That's going to be interesting. Can't wait for that.
I watch those videos of people that they play with tigers and lions, and I wish I could do that. That seems so fun. But obviously, we're not in that part of the world, or have that money, or live in those states. That looks like fun to me. If you trusted a lion or a tiger enough to be able to do that with one of them, man, that's amazing.
It is an incredible experience. It's just kind of like the thing with after watching Tiger King is like, what are we sacrificing of ourselves as a species to do it? But it is like, and that's where like as a kid, I always just was like drawn to big cats and like that for sure. So it's like there is this fascination within us that's just like, oh man, we have to. I want to be as close and connect to this thing, but it probably could kill me. Like, I don't know what that is, but it's like, even at the zoo, you see with kids, like, I'm going to get right up against the glass. It's like, there should be this innate fear with us as humans. And yes, we've contained them. And yes, we make it easy and accessible. But there's almost this sense of bewilderment and like wonder that we want to run up to things that's in us that I've always found fascinating as people that just like other species are generally more observant to engage at any risk. They're just like, let me find out what this is.
To be fair with Nick, who's saying a horse would wreck. I have a mean right hook. Horse do not. So,
I have seen people, unfortunately take out a horse before. But they are maybe not one of those souped up race horses with the steroids. Oof. But Nick wants to die with sharks without a cage. I think sharks, the problem is like I don't feel confident in the water that I can take something on that lives and breathes and kills in the water. It's like even with the technology, but like hand-to-hand combat. Yeah, maybe an otter, just because they're small enough that you could kind of like throw them enough. But like you can get like a good like football grab on them and just kind of like chuck them. But like the sharks are just, man, like you kick them right in the gills. I know all the stuff you're supposed to do, but that's some crazy. Maybe you have a little bit of Australian in you after all, Nick, since you're crazy and you want to go swim with sharks, buddy. I don't know.
But they can do it in 1 to 2 directions, though. Like
that's true. Horses are very that, and like literally just blind the horse, just cover its eyes, and it's done. Like it doesn't know what to do. They're like birds. They're like birds. Once it's like a hockey fight. You pull the jersey over, it's like done for the horse, pretty much. Yeah, any bird that kind of goes for as well. But birds are otherwise terrifying, mostly because they can strike when you're least expecting it. That's kind of the magic of birds. But otherwise, I think like I could definitely fight. Like if you're like taking on multiples, probably multiple birds. It would hurt. Definitely get hurt. Definitely get cut. But this is a fight. This is a street fight we're talking about. But so gens would probably be birds. Yeah. But Nick knows I could take on birds. Yeah. Afmir said just join a cartel. I don't know if they fight animals. That's news to me.
I'd rather them fight animals than human beings.
I did not see that episode of Narcos where they took on a gorilla. But I would watch. That was a good question to go out on, I think. And you guys got anything else to say? It's so fun talking to you guys. I could do this all night, but I know we all got to get to sleep at some point here. And I want to be respectful of Victor's housemates as well. Always, and mine as well, who are always like, why are you going till 11 talking about punching horses? I don't know. I'm not. I'm just facilitating a conversation about abuse of
we established we are anti-animals or anti-people.
We are very, yes. Unfortunately, this conversation took a very dark turn in the post show, and this is why we don't post the post show, is because we can have fun conversations that ultimately live here that people can come back and rewatch and then tell us that we are crazy about. But who's going to sit an hour and 30 minutes in to watch that conversation. Maybe they can jump there. Maybe somebody can link this. I don't care. If you want to and take it out of context, go ahead. But this is all encouragements to definitely do that. But if you take the time to do it, that means more people will watch the next week. And please keep watching. And we appreciate all of you guys who are hanging on here till the end. I'd like to say this is the Daniel Tasha podcast, and that he had a joke where he used to say that he takes jokes further and further till nobody knows what he's talking about. That's kind of what we do here with the show as well. But we like to make it feel like it's a house, right? Where you come to a house party and eventually everybody leaves and it's just you and the host. And the host is like, so, you want another glass of water or
start helping clean up and stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to go to bed. I don't know about you. You can hang out. But, this is a great nature documentary. I'm just going to keep watching. Never hung out with this guy before, but he's the last guy left in my house. Okay. But yeah, no, it's not the case here. It's always friends and family, so it's always why it's fun to hang. But great having everybody here, and thanks Tony for dropping by and staying for the way actually more than the podcast itself. And Victor, man, great show. And we warmed up, so we got all this stuff kind of in before, and now we're, dude. Second time's a charm. Jerry has something against you. I guess he just doesn't want to come on when we're going to have you on the show. I don't know.
I know. He's the guy that brought me on onto the local.
I know, right? I think he was kind of miffed. I was like, it's kind of the perfect week to have Victor on. I know you have to go he's having dinner with his cousin. He's in town from Texas. And I was like,
I saw that.
Do that. But,
yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's always, take time for family and stuff. But yeah, it was funny because I think he was like, man, I think I would want to do the Victor podcast. I'm like, you can't do every one though. We got to keep having people on. It was kind of the perfect week for it. So thanks, man. And appreciate you coming on shorter notice as always. But yeah, and Steve for a bit was like, I really wanted to make sure there was at least two of us because he missed last week, but he was not super jumping on. So we appreciate everybody. I'm going to roll us out here and take it easy, guys. And we'll see you soon.
Cheers.